KY3 News starts now.
But I don't know where my son is. No one can tell me where my son is.
Look at that, just shooting back.
The worst mass shooting in U.S. history. 50 dead, another 50 injured after a gunman opens fire at an Orlando nightclub.
It was just one after another, after another, after another, and it could have lasted a whole song.
The shooter claiming allegiance to ISIS in a 911 call moments before the massacre. We'll have reaction from witnesses, political leaders, and people in the Ozarks.
And for more on that tragedy in Florida today, we do go to NBC's Jay Gray with the very latest in Orlando on those 50 people shot dead and 53 others injured.
Look at this.
Look, 300 of people or more were inside the Pulse nightclub when the shots rang out. You can see all the strobes, the work lights behind me. The investigation here intensifying as police and federal agents try to understand how and why it all happened. An outpouring of support tonight. A stunned nation searching for strength and answers less than 24 hours after the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Just after 2 a.m., the clash of gunfire rose above the dance music inside the popular gay nightclub Pulse.
Oh, my God. People are getting shot, dude.
At least 50 were killed, 53 or more injured. The deadliest shooting in U.S. history.
A ballistic vest here for any of our individuals that are entering the red zone.
As police moved in, the wounded were moved to area hospitals, while dozens still inside the club were held hostage. The standoff continuing for 3 hours before a SWAT team stormed in, killing the suspect during a firefight.
In staging, we now have our large MCI unit, 250 patients.
As the magnitude of the attack started to sink in, desperate friends and families searched for loved ones.
But I don't know where my son is. No one can tell me where my son is. If he's been shot, if he's dead, no one knows.
We do know more now about the alleged triggerman, 29-year-old Omar Mateen, born in New York. He moved to Florida with his family more than 10 years ago. The FBI first learned about Mateen 4 years ago when co-workers alerted agents about comments he made supporting violent extremism. A year later, he was questioned about a passing relationship with a man who became a suicide bomber in Syria. Since then, agents say he showed no signs of preparing for a terror attack. Police say Mateen called 911 just before the attack, pledging his allegiance to ISIS and talking briefly about the Boston Marathon bombing. But his father tells NBC News the killing spree may have been fueled by his anger over something he saw a few months ago in Miami, saying, quote, he saw two men kissing each other and he got very angry. Omar was very upset. Maybe that's why he went after a gay club. As investigators continue to search for that reason, this community and the country. Now, Mateen's ex-wife spoke out tonight, calling him, quote, violent and bipolar, and saying that at times during their brief marriage, he would hold her hostage, not allowing her to speak with family or friends. Live in Orlando, I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
President Obama spoke earlier today on the massacre. This was the 15th time he addressed the nation after a mass shooting. The president discussed the importance of unity.
In the face of hate and violence, we will love one another. We will not give in to fear or turn against each other. Instead, we will stand united as Americans to protect our people and defend our nation and to take action against those who threaten us.
Here in the Ozarks, the mass shooting has reminded many in the LGBT community how easy it is to be singled out. KY3's Justin Hodges is live from the Oasis Inn and Convention Center, where Springfield's LGBT community is kicking off Pride Week. Dustin?
Paula, one thing we've heard over and over again from members of Springfield's LGBT community is just how close-knit it is, many of whom know one another and share the same hangouts like Martha's Vineyard, where we spoke to the general manager who said he has been to Pulse nightclub in Orlando before, and he spoke about how last night's shooting hit close to home, not just for him, but for the entire LGBT community.
I was totally shocked because I was like, I mean, it could have been at Martha's.
For Martha's Vineyard General Manager Matt Dennison, Saturday night's mass shooting at Pulse nightclub hits close to home, not just because Dennison manages a gay club.
It could have been at any nightclub, but for it to be at a gay nightclub, it was very shocking. I was very saddened by the news, and I was kind of speechless.
Dennison has also visited Pulse nightclub in Orlando.
I went down there for a vacation with a friend, and we went to Pulse basically every night we were there for an entire week. And yeah, you never know with people what their intentions are.
It does hit home. It could happen anywhere. And I don't think it's something you can necessarily prepare for, but you can't live in fear either.
While the LGBT community in Springfield refuses to be afraid, nightclubs like Martha's Vineyard are also beefing up security as they celebrate LGBT Pride.
Springfield Pride Fest is June 18th, and it's one of our busiest nights of the year here. We definitely will have additional security that night. I don't want people to fear coming here and fear of something like that happening here. And we're going to take extra precautions.
And while the Gay Pride pageant is wrapping up here behind me, Pride Week continues all week long. On Friday night at 8 p.m., the Gay and Lesbian Community Center of the Ozarks will be holding a candlelit vigil for victims of the Orlando shooting, as well as survivors and their families. Live at the Oasis Inn and Convention Center, Dustin Hodges, KY3 News.
And this is a look at one of the many lines formed at blood centers earlier today following the attack. A woman who attended Missouri State University, who now lives in Orlando, stood in line for hours just to donate blood. Our freelance reporter, Trey Johnson, spoke with the MSU grad as she waited in line.
Well, I was actually out downtown last night, so when I heard about it this morning, it really was close to home because we was about 10 minutes away. So it could have easily been us. So I was like, yes, we have to go out and do what we can do. So we've been here since about 11, just waiting to give blood.
Many of you have wondered how you can help. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks and the Red Cross in Springfield are not collecting blood for the shooting victims at this time, though they do always welcome donations for local needs. A man from Springfield used to live in Orlando and went to the same nightclub a couple times a week. Alex Stompoli met and made a lot of friends at that club. He says he felt safe and welcome in the city. Says he feels personally attacked now.
And it's very personal, and that's the other thing I think that hurts the most, and it affects my community very hard, and I think it affects everybody extremely hard. You want answers to your questions, you want to know why, and you wonder moving forward if you're ever going to feel safe going into some kind of environment like that. I never thought going into a nightclub that I might be the victim of a mass shooting, and I don't like to live my life in fear, but you find out that it's an establishment that I've been to 30, 40 times easy, and you're like, what's the probability of this occurring again, and the ramifications of something like that.
A member of the Unity Church of Springfield says the shooting brings up a lot of fear and concern within the LGBT community everywhere.
It's definitely personal for me as a lesbian woman to recognize that members of our community were targeted in this manner, and so many people lost their lives, and so many people are going to be affected by this because we are targeted. I mean, we're targeted every day.
And on the same day of this deadly shooting, police say a heavily armed man headed to the LA Pride Festival was taken into custody. It all started when officers responded to a call of a prowler knocking on people's doors early in the morning. Police found several weapons and ammunition inside that man's car. They also found an ingredient that can be used to make pipe bombs. The man told police he was headed to West Hollywood to, quote, do harm to people at the Pride Festival. No one was hurt. Switching gears now to our weather, a stormy afternoon for many parts of the Ozarks. Abby Dyer joins us with our first forecast. Abby, any storms overnight?
Not overnight. So that's one thing that we have to be thankful for. We can sleep soundly tonight. I don't have any rain in the forecast. In fact, after dark tonight, we don't have any rain left on the radar, but we did have quite a bit of thunder and lightning activity this afternoon. Even a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and some issues with flash flooding down in northern Arkansas. All of that, not an issue anymore tonight, but we do have cloud cover for about half of our counties. Temperatures Temperatures right now in the 70s at 71 degrees in Springfield, south wind at 5 miles an hour, and it's going to be a pretty calm night. Temperatures won't move much. We're going to stay in the low 70s. That's where we wake up on Monday morning. Temperatures don't move much. We have a little bit of cloud cover in the forecast overnight, but we warm up very quickly tomorrow. Look at this timeline. I have temperatures back into the mid-70s by 8 a.m. By 10 o'clock, we could already be seeing the mid-80s. It means it's going to be another warm day, another humid day in the Ozarks as we start the work week. I have more chances for showers and thunderstorms on Monday, too. I'll have the timeline on those in just a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then, Abby. And the local news of the day next.
Number 1 in the Ozarks. You're watching KY3 News at 10 with Paula Morehouse, Storm Team meteorologist Abby Dyer, and sports with Joe Hickman. The place to be. On air, online, on the go.
Police are still looking for the suspect in a hit and run in Springfield. They have recovered the SUV but have not found the driver. Jesse Beach, the bicyclist hit late Friday night, was still on life support at last report. His family was making arrangements for organ donation. Police say a white Ford SUV hit Beach in front of Baptist Bible College a little after 11 p.m. A man from Iowa has drowned at Lake of the Ozarks. Happened at the Grand Glaze Arm just before 5 last night. Officials say Anthony Bergmeyer went underwater after swimming away from his boat. He never resurfaced. His body was later recovered by dive teams. Bergmeyer was 51. An 18-year-old in Kansas City facing charges of sex trafficking. Prosecutors accused the young woman of forcing 2 teenagers into prostitution. Court documents say the woman charged invited a 15-year-old to move in with her and then suggested she make money by working as a prostitute when the girl couldn't find a job. Police say a 14-year-old girl who was also a runaway told them a similar story. A security hiccup this weekend at Lambert Airport forced hundreds of passengers to go through 2 security screenings. TSA said there was a problem in some of the screening machines on one concourse. That meant some passengers were not being adequately screened. Several flights had to be put on hold because of this problem. Officials cleared the concourse and moved travelers to another one where they were screened again. Heavy rain doused parts of the Ozarks this afternoon and evening. This is a look at the sky before storms rolled through Springfield. Is more on the way? Abby's in next with your complete work week forecast.
And now, your KY3 Storm Team forecast.
Good evening, everyone. It is 10:19. No more rain or thunderstorms left on the radar, but there is some cloud cover, and temperatures quickly today fell from about 90 degrees into the low 70s as soon as that rain started. A lot of you picking up on some very impressive rainfall totals. I had some reports near Yellville, nearly 2 inches of rain, and there was an issue with flash flooding down near the Mountain Home area. In fact, if you go to our Facebook pages, the Storm Team page or my page, you can see a really neat time-lapse video of a flash flood near a creek near Mountain Home. It happens in a matter of a half hour. You can really see the power of water with that picture. Good news is that things have subsided there. We have no watches or warnings down in that area. Here's the picture. This is right now in Springfield, looking down Sunshine Street, 71 degrees at the airport, a south wind at 5 miles an hour, and a dew point of 67 degrees. That's an indication that it's going to be pretty warm tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to feel kind of sticky, very humid air, very similar to the conditions that we had out there on Sunday, with temperatures getting close to 90 again tomorrow afternoon. Right now, things are pretty comfortable. We're at 68 in Harrison and Branson and in Mountain Grove. It's 70 over in Monette, 72 the current temperature in Clinton. Almost everybody made it to the low 90s today, and temperatures are going to hold steady now for several hours. Watch the timeline, though. Look how quickly we start to warm up tomorrow. I have us back in the mid-70s by 8, close to the mid-80s by about 10 a.m. tomorrow. The lawn mowing forecast for Monday, I'm going to give it a yellow light. I think a lot of yard work can be done tomorrow. You're just going to have to time it just right. If you have the morning hours free, even mid-morning, I think temperatures will still be okay. It's going to get pretty hot and humid, though, in the afternoon. And then I have chances for showers and storms. So you're going to have to keep an eye on the radar in the afternoon and also watch those temperatures. Try not to be outdoors during the peak heating of the daytime. That's when things can really be dangerous. Here's a look in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This ridge that we've had around for most of last week and into the weekend, it's beginning to break down. That's one of the reasons that we had showers and thunderstorms today. I have a very similar setup tomorrow. Again on Tuesday, again on Wednesday, temperatures close to 90 with afternoon thunderstorms each and every day. watch what happens late in the week into next weekend. Now, this is a pattern that we often see in the summertime. This big ridge of high pressure builds back in. This means heat and humidity return. Our rain chances get cut off again as we head late into the weekend and early into the weekend, excuse me. Heat is going to be back, and I have temperatures back in the low to mid 90s. So the heat's going to hang around for the rest of the week. Check out Futurecast. This is overnight tonight. I don't expect much activity at all. I think on Monday we wake up dry, but we heat up, and that's when we start to see some of those afternoon showers and storms. Some of those storms could be carrying some very locally heavy rain and, of course, frequent lightning, much like what we saw today. Tuesday, kind of a similar scenario here. Dry in the morning, afternoon thunderstorms, a very summer-like pattern, and then we will see some very warm air build its way in here by Thursday. That's when I have temperatures back into the mid-90s. Here's a look at Futurecast overnight tonight. I think it has the right idea with temperatures tomorrow, upper 80s, low 90s. Temps are then back into the 70s for lows on Tuesday morning. We're all back into the low 90s on Tuesday afternoon. 70 tonight in Springfield and in Harrison with a south wind and a partly cloudy sky. Tomorrow we are looking at temperatures that are going to be at 90 in Springfield, slightly cooler than that in northern Arkansas, but everybody's got a chance for some afternoon showers and storms. The extended forecast doesn't give us much of a break here. I have storm chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not one day looks like a complete washout, though. We are going to be mostly sunny and hot by Thursday. Temperatures backing off a little bit closer to the weekend with very small rain chances. This weekend it was hot, but there were still some opportunities to get outdoors. If you wanted to play fetch, the dog walking forecast today includes a nice little backyard game, but temperatures were going to be nice and cool in the evenings. Kind of a similar scenario this week. Even though there are storm chances in the dog walk and pig days this week, Paula, I think still some opportunity to get outdoors these days, and these are also the coolest. Saturday at 88 is going to feel refreshing compared to the rest of the week when temperatures are in the low to mid 90s during the afternoon. So choose the morning or the evening to get out and walk the dog this week.
Abby, was it hot or did I miss him? I didn't see him.
You know, I think the video might have froze up a little bit, but what you didn't miss is that I threw the ball and he didn't go get it. So not the best fetch partner.
It's too hot. He's on strike.
I guess so, yeah.
Abby, thank you. And we'll have more on those Orlando mass shootings next. What happened at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando is the newest chapter in what's become a familiar refrain, mass shootings. Here's NBC's Harry Smith.
Our Sunday morning was shaken by news that has become all too familiar. Today, it was Orlando. But, said President Obama,
this could have been any one of our communities.
As it has been so many times before. San Bernardino, California, last December, 14 killed in a terrorist attack. Charleston, South Carolina, last June, 9 killed at the Mother Emanuel Church. Newtown, Connecticut, 27 killed at Sandy Hook Elementary, most of them first graders. Blacksburg, Virginia, 32 gunned down on the campus of Virginia Tech. Just some of the attacks America has endured. The president said America has a choice.
We have to decide if that's the kind of country we want to be. And to actively do nothing is a decision as well.
Today in Orlando, violence has left at least 50 more families in mourning.
In the coming hours and days, we'll learn about the victims of this tragedy. Their names, their faces, who they were, the joy that they brought to families and to friends, and the difference that they made in this world.
This evening, some families are clinging to hope that their loved ones who survived, will be okay. The families who are learning that their loved ones have been killed are crippled by grief, lives forever shattered by one man, his hate, and his guns. We have been here too many times before, and with no sign that anything will change, we fear this will not be the last. Harry Smith, NBC News, Orlando.
Sports is next. Stay with us.
Sports with Joe Hickman starts now.
Well, it took a 5-hour rain-delayed game to do it, but the Springfield Cardinals have taken over first place in the Texas League North by half game after beating the former leader, Tulsa, for the second straight day. Willie McGee, Cardinals roving instructor, was among those watching as Jonathan Rodriguez homered for the second straight day. This is a 2-run shot in the third to put Springfield ahead 2-1. Then in the fourth, Bruce Caldwell and Carson Kelly pumped back-to-back homers to make it 4-1. And after a 2.5-hour rain delay, St. Louis reliever Seth Maness made his last rehab appearance here and allowed a solo home run, but Springfield would hold on 4-3 to move into first place. Maness, by the way, was a member of the Springfield team back in 2012 that won the Texas League Championship, the first and only team to do so, and he remembers that bunch fondly.
Really because I was able to come up with a lot of those guys and join big leagues with them, and so we had a lot of chemistry there, and seeing guys succeed from the lower levels all the way up to the big leagues was special. And really Oscar Taveras too, remembering him and what a phenomenal player he was.
Maness's big league teammates have had a great weekend in Pittsburgh, where they swept the Pirates to overtake the Buccos for second place. Matt Holliday went deep for the second straight day, a 2-out first pitch homer in the first. After letting a 4-0 lead shrink to 4-2, St. Louis added 4 more runs in the sixth, including this homer by Randall Grichuk, and the Birds win 8-3. Well, having ended their 8-game losing skid on Saturday, the Royals are now on a 2-game winning streak after beating the White Sox in Chicago. Yordano Ventura starting for KC while he appeals his 9-game suspension for that fight in Baltimore. Struck out a season-high 10 and allowed just 1 run over 7 innings. Salvador Perez added this 9th-inning homer for a 3-1 KC victory, the 500th career win for manager Ned Yost, who was pleased with Yordano's effort.
You know, he was actually pitching out there today. You know, there's been times over the course of this year where he's just rearing back and firing, and the results are never good because it always affects your command.
I can't believe that they are still honoring me like this.
15 years after her All-American career, in which she became the NCAA's all-time leading scorer and led the Missouri State Lady Bears to the Final Four, Jackie Stiles is still being honored as she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend. Jackie picked up her award to the music of Rocky because
I've always felt like an underdog.
And talked about the real reason she's been motivated to succeed.
When I was 12, I lost my 9-month-old sister, and I wished I could have traded places with her then and now. But at that moment, I vowed that I would dedicate every single accomplishment to honor her.
In her speech, Jackie did not forget the Lady Bear faithful.
A big thank you to the fans. You are what made my journey as a basketball player so special. And it pushed me to become better because I wanted to make you proud.
And with Jackie now an assistant coach at Missouri State, her current players didn't forget her.
I was blown away today. The current team at Missouri State surprised me and came to the autograph session this morning. I had no idea they were coming, and it just meant the world. They rode 12 hours on a bus to be here tonight, and it just means so much. Thank you.
Congratulations to Jackie and to another young lady from the Ozarks who became a national champion this weekend. Courtney Frericks from Nixa, Missouri, won the NCAA Women's 3,000-meter steeplechase in Eugene, Oregon. The 23-year-old Frericks, who runs for the University of New Mexico, beat Arkansas's Jessica Camillos, who's from Neosho, by 17 seconds in the championship final, and she set a new NCAA record in that event, breaking the old mark by 1.13 seconds. In 3 weeks, she'll be back in Eugene, trying to make the U.S. Olympic team, and the ESPN commentators like her chances after setting that record.
Performance, and it has to make you think that there's a chance with a little more improvement she could make the Olympic team next month.
Congratulations to her. Jenny Behringer had a record that has stood for 7 years.
And we wish her all the best. We'll be keeping you updated on her as she tries to make it to Rio.
Pretty amazing how quickly she came up. Thank you, Joe. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for watching KY3 News at 10. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a wonderful work week, everybody. Bye-bye.